Welcome back to Brands Hatch. Of course, it's all about the war for four here in the British Superbike Championship, but there's a title up for grabs as well in the Eastern Airways Sidecar Championship. We're all set to go racing here in the company of James Whittam and Barry Nutt.
Thank you, Matt. Well, the penultimate race in the 2014 season for the Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Championship. She sees Sean Hegarty and James Neave out there with a 68-point lead over Lovelock, who will start behind them on the grid. Andy Peach has recovered well to third. Chaplow slipping backwards in fourth. Edwards won't ride, he's still injured. Tony Brown, Lee Barrett in this weekend. Ashley Hall's still suffering with that broken wrist from Assen. And Steve Kershaw and Rob Wilson, what a second half of the season they've had. They are sitting now in 7th place in the title standings, ahead of Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charlwood. 10 laps. Simon Gilbert there. You can see everybody forming up. The important thing is that Sean Hegarty, championship leader, is second on the front row with Tim Reeves and Greg Clues, who will not score points. But there are double points up for grabs in this race. So instead of our customary 25, Hegarty is shooting for 50 in this race. Peach and Lovelock line up behind them on row 2. 10 laps around here is going to be very interesting. I'll be joined by James Whittam, who always provides a bit of colour and entertainment with the F1 sidecars. You can see the front row there. James, we got Tim Reeves, of course, a man in form, 5 times now world champion. We do expect him to run away with it, although he won't be going for those points.
No, he won't. He can't score the points, but he does actually like riding around here. Conditions not brilliant, but I'm thinking more manageable by the sidecars than they would be by solos, actually, at the minute.
Well, the Suzuki of Hegarty then, the left-hand side of your picture, watch the lights, away they go. From the outside, Tim Reeves, Greg Clues bouncing up and down on the back of the Tim Reeves Kawasaki for a fantastic start. But Lovelock then from behind Hegarty, tucked in alongside Peach, knows he's got to stay in touch with Sean Hegarty and James Neave. 13 races won. James, this is the record grid. 28 sidecars started today. That's busy, isn't it?
Can you believe it? Yeah, it is really busy. Obviously, track always looks busy with the sidecars with an equal number, but yeah, this is a full grid and a full track.
And what we have got up from the BSB Championship, we've got 3 wild cards. We've got the BSB champion, Matt McLaurin, with A.D. Hope in there, riding number 25. So they're putting a toe in the water, but it's a giant's leap from club racing to this level.
It always is. It is for a solo and it is for a sidecar. You know, you think you're a big fish in a small pond at club level, and then you move up and it's a different kettle of fish completely.
We don't, in sidecars, unfortunately, have the same ranks of progression that you have in the solo world.
Yeah, there's not the stepping stones to get up. It's either one or the other. And, yeah, they're in the deep end now.
Talking of the deep end, through they go. Look at Hegarty and Lovelock. Lovelock staying with him on the BMW. So the Driver Wolf BMW #1, the green and orange outfit, in 4th place on the road because it's Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson on the L&W BMW. They're rumoured to be going Kawasaki for 2015, yet to be confirmed.
Somebody's out.
Roger Body, Sierra's organiser, already out of it. Roger Body and Jamie Wynn. It's rumoured that Roger Body has... Well, he's hanging his leathers up after this season. He's going to stick to organising.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah, I've heard that. Well, it's a sad day, but you've got to come to that decision at some point as a racer.
There's Tim Reeves. Tim Reeves and Greg Clues. Not only did they win the F1 World Championship this year, they also won the F2 European Cup. They're accomplished TT competitors, had a TT win in 2014, so it's been a golden year for Tim Reeves. 1.193, the gap away from Andy Peach, who's come into a very, very strong vein of form. But this is where the championship battle is. These are 1st and 2nd in the title, and looking back, James Neave. Now, Sean Hegarty, we don't see him make mistakes, but you never know. We've seen funny things happen in the solo world today.
Yeah, we have a little bit of pressure. Also, conditions like this, somebody else spun, and I think going to rejoin.
Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charlwood, and it's opportune, I'm going to say now, and I hope I'm not blowing the cover, but Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charlwood will be riding under the B. Weiser Kawasaki Tommy Hill Superbike team colours next year.
Yeah, I tell you, the rider in front, they were lucky not to put that right upside down.
Well, there you go. So you heard it here on Eurosport. Tommy Hill will be running an F1 sidecar in B. Weiser colours next year, and that is the crew, the spectacular young crew, Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charlwood, who'll be campaigning it. Andy Peach then from Hegarty. They're beginning to ease away now from Lovelock.
Yeah, remember,
1.5 seconds.
Reeves and Close cannot score points in this race.
Peach from Hegarty. Hegarty knows, because his pit board will be telling him that Lovelock is behind him. Oh, over the curb he went. This is nip and tuck now. They are getting quicker and quicker and quicker. And I think the fact that we've got such a big grid here in the final round is an indication, and it bodes well for next season.
Yeah, there's so much interest now in these F1 sidecars. It's growing with every year.
Now they're using proprietary engines. The manufacturers such as Suzuki, Kawasaki, BMW, all very much represented. Honda less so. There are some Yamahas out there.
Yeah, obviously if you're going to take an engine from a sports bike and put it in a sidecar, it's got to drag a lot more weight around, typically about 450 kilos with the riders and the big chassis and all the rest of it. But you're going to pick the engine that has the most power as a standard street sports bike, and that would be the Kawasaki or the BMW.
Look at this. Now, look, Andy Peach and Charlie Richardson, I'm not going to say they're holding up Sean Hegarty, but Sean Hegarty needs to know he's got to get past, because Lovelock is right with him. Hegarty's got to try and get his way past Andy Peach. Roger Lovelock and Aki Alto, his Finnish passenger, are there or thereabouts, hanging on and going pretty well.
Yeah, to pass Lovelock, to pass Peach, sorry, Hegarty has to run offline, which means running on the damper part of the track. Consequently, not as much grip.
Right behind them, Tony Brown, Lee Barrett, and then it's Kershaw. Then it's 4-time world champion Pekka Pavarinta from Finland with Kirsi Kainalainen, his lady passenger. 3 young ladies in this race. Sidecar passengering is a thing which lends itself to the female form as well, but you have to be strong and you have to be tough.
You're on thin ice there. I'll just let you go down that road, Barry.
Well, it's cheaper on the leathers for a start, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's enough.
Peter Founds, number 72, Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood making good for their earlier nearly upset. It was very nearly an upset. And where has that dropped them to? Oh, fantastic. Lovelock's by.
Yep.
Lovelock is by. Roger Lovelock and Aki Alto are by. So it's damage limitation. They're ahead of Hegarty. And that's Hegarty. Hegarty's slowing, surely.
I think so, yeah. There was
something not...
I would say there's something wrong with the outfit. Number 33 outfit.
Sean Hegarty and James Neve then, now in 4th place. Ahead of them goes Lovelock. He's won 13 races this year, Hegarty. Lovelock has won 3. Peach, the man in front of them, Andy Peach, has won last time out at Silverstone. The only other man to win a race was Ben Holland, and Ben Holland at the moment is right down the order in 14th place.
Yeah, this is the overtake. Lovelock on Hegarty. I don't think there was a... Oh, yeah, he's lost a bit of traction there.
Is it damp?
Surtees.
It's not damp out there. There are one or two damp patches.
There is definitely damp patches, and I think he got onto one of them right on the inside at Surtees, and that cost him time all the way down the back straight.
Half distance then, lap 5 here on the long track at Brands Hatch. Lovelock is ahead of Hegarty. Hegarty then now some 10 lengths ahead of Roger Lovelock on lap 6, so we're nearly at 3/4 race distance, but Tim Reeves hasn't cleared off into the distance.
This is Lovelock. Watch the green and orange outfit, number 1 there. Loses, and it was a damp patch, then lose it again, look on. You can see the spray coming up from the paint. The paint always holds the moisture longer than the tarmac.
Do you know, that's all it needs, isn't it? Just a tiny, but once it's gone, and it happens in a flash, a split second.
Yeah, you have a little bit of scope with these things for sliding around where you haven't with the Solo. That would have been you upside down if you'd have been on a superbike at that point.
Well, these 4 then, the front 4, Tim Reeves is away out in front. There's Barry James and Sam Christie looking as though they're about to be lapped. Closing on them now. This is Ian Guy further down the order. Ian Guy, and coming through, that is Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood making hay. Number 11, Simon Gilbert there. Jed Pillmore Brady in the green leathers on the back of Simon Gilbert's outfit.
And one of the things that this sidecar race will be doing is getting the track, drying the track out. It's taken a long time for this track to dry. I've never seen it take as long as this to dry. We haven't had any rain since this morning, and yet we've still got damp patches just about everywhere, and the moisture still present on the painted surfaces, so these sidecars will be inadvertently helping out the solos.
There's Pavarinta, the Finnish four-times world champion, who's right behind Steve Kershaw, Ben Bygrave and Justin Sharp, riding for a charity this weekend. Up Yours to Cancer, children's charity. Everything they earn this weekend is going to go to charity. Great for them. Bygrave and Sharp then on the number 74. And so I couldn't forget that. They gave me a sticker to put on the hand.
And he's still there. You'll never get that off.
Pekka Pavarinta then, Kirsi Kainalainen, the young lady doing a fantastic job. And that girl, if I say, that young lady with the red and green leathers there, James, in her own country in Finland, a good 125 rider and currently riding Supersport.
Yeah, I'm going to say she's cracking on a Supersport as well. Yeah, she's no mug and a solo.
Good track record.
In fact, you know, over the years, last 25 years, has been some really good Finnish lady riders. Of all the lady riders from the Finland, the Finnish lot have been the best, I think. Some genuine world-class riders.
Well, great to see, and they're going to be here next year in the Eastern Airways Championship. This pair, her solo commitments permitting, and also World Championship commitments permitting, because right in the middle of this bunch now, Pekka Pavarinta is having a fantastic... He's seeing Brands Hatch the full circuit for the first time as well, so that's no mean achievement.
It's not, especially in these conditions. You've got to be fairly accurate with what you're doing. That's more difficult when you don't know your way around a track, obviously. There's a red flag.
Now we don't know what the incident is that's caused that, but this will be a result.
Yep.
On lap 8.
2/3. This is complete. It should count.
So, and it will be a count back over the line next time. So race stoppage. That means Sean Hegarty and James Neve have done enough here. They've done enough. Hands in the air. That will be a result. I'm pretty sure, to get it to confirm, we are looking at the 2014 Eastern Airways British F1 Sidecar Champions. Rumoured also that Hegarty is going to do the Isle of Man TT next year. That is a different ballgame, as you well know.
And he'll know that. He'll know it takes a bit more learning. Probably 2 or 3 years, they say, minimum to know your way around the Isle of Man TT course.
And on completely different machinery.
Yeah, Formula 2.
But there we have it. Roger Lovelock then, I think, is looking at the runner-up slot in this, but bit of a delay, not quite sure what the incident is. We've got red flags on our monitor, but no information as to the reasons why. Crowd looking on anxiously to see what's going on here. But there were damp patches all the way around the track. And number 62, Andy Sloan. And there's Roger Body.
I think these are retirees by the look, and I think the number 62 was seeing if this could be...
That looks like Martin Kirk, or that looks like out of the... Well, that's one of the Bemsey wildcards.
Yep, and this is down at Surtees by the look of the shot.
So these guys were... That is the driver, so that is Martin Kirk.
Yeah, you can tell he's a driver. He's got the lanyard to stick in the ignition so that if he does get ejected from the outfit, it'll cut out.
His passenger, Paul McCardle, no news yet, but that's what we have at the moment. Martin Kirk then at Surtees, but there we have Sean Hegarty and James Neve. Handshakes all round. What a fantastic... And here's Mum there, Andy Peach. Tim Reeves, of course. 5 times world champion, and Andy Peach then will lift the big points here. And have a look at the standings as Gregory Clues, the Frenchman, gives us the thumbs up from a good race. Confirmation of that result. 0.38 seconds then ahead of Peach. Reeves gets it from Hegarty. Lovelock 4th. Brown, Kershaw, Pavarinta. What a scrap that was. Ben Bygrave and Justin Sharp were involved as well. Craig Chaplow is protecting 4th place in the championship. Has he done enough? We shall see when the standings are shown at the end of the day. Barry James, Sam Christie in 10th. Well, after that almost upside down, Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood recovered to 11th. They'll be under the Tommy Hill, B. Weiser Kawasaki colours next year, ahead of Ian Guy and Ben Ransley, Simon Gilbert, Jed Pillmore Brady, John Holden, Andy Winkle, Holland and Watson collect the final point on a borrowed Yamaha. Their bike will be ready next season. That's it then, done deal. There are still 50 points on the table for later in the day because we have a second race here at the day, but you can see the gap is an insurmountable 76. Hegarty is champion from Lovelock. From Andy Peach, Chaplow is still well ahead of Brown and Barrett. 244 points off the lead. Kershaw 6 so far, brilliant. Stevens, Holland and Horsepole completing the top 10. He and Jimmy Connell are going to be together permanently for 2015.
Welcome back to Brands Hatch, where Sean Hegarty and James Neve are celebrating, wrapping up the British Sidecar Championship here this weekend. Strange circumstances in a way with a red flag, but there's no doubt that you boys have deserved it over the season.
It's been really good. This race was the worst race the whole lot. Everything's counting you. You hear your bike rattling, you think, is it going to make it? Oh, it's just mega. I'd just like to say, if I can, thank you to James. He's told me all year. It was the first time we've been partnering together. Mum and Dad, who are my main sponsors, and everyone else helped me. John Lawson, he's been a good friend, helping me too. Yeah, it's been mega.
Yeah, just been a mega year, really. First year together. Just that race just seemed to go on and on and on. I'm sure it was longer than 10 laps. But yeah, just a big thanks to Sue and Sean, my mum and dad and Laura, and everybody who's helped us along the way, really.
Thanks, boys. Great job. Enjoy the celebrations tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Thank you.
OK, as I said, two deserving champions, Barry.
Indeed, Matt. Yeah, they've been a class act. Let's have a quick look at how they wrapped it up today. They had to go well, and when Sean referred to the fact that it was a long, long race, it was only 8 laps at the end of the day, but they had to get their head down in the knowledge that the driver Wolf BMW of Lovelock would be chasing them hard, and chase them hard he did. The race was not without events all the way down the field. Ricky Stevens, Ryan Charwood almost upending it, but kept it running. How lucky were they? They will live to fight again later today when they do it all over again for the Academia, really, the runner-up standings in the table, because the champions are done and dusted. There they are, Hegarty and Neve. What a great race they had. A long challenge from Lovelock and Alto resulted in a manoeuvre which put them ahead. Sean Hegarty had a moment on the damp surfaces of the track, but very shortly, a lap later, it was to almost catch up Roger Lovelock in exactly the same place, just like that. That allowed Hegarty past. After that, it was nose down, tail up, all the way to the flag and the 2014 championship. A red flag involving Martin Kirk and Paul McCardle curtailed the proceedings prematurely and handed the championship to Hegarty and Neve. Handshakes all round, very worthy champions. Tim Reeves and Greg Clues almost overlooked as race winners. They weren't scoring points, but they stamped their class on this race, going to the top step of the podium. Hegarty and Neve had the T-shirts already printed. Roger Marshall, multi-British solo champion, doing the awards, and an appreciative crowd. This race, of course, played out in front of a very strong qualifying crowd here at Brands Hatch, who are now eagerly awaiting the first of the British Superbike races later on today's programme. We will have another sidecar race here. Whether we actually get that to you live or not remains to be seen. Champagne being sprayed, and second win in the points then for Andy Beach and Charlie Richardson. A victory last time out at Silverstone. They've done it again here today, moving their number of wins on to 2.
Yeah, great scenes there up on the podium then for Sean Hegarty and James Neve. That slightly shortened race, but still, as I said before, very deserving champions indeed. Let's just have a little wrap then of what we've seen here so far on what has been a dramatic start to the final round of the season, guys. And Once again, it started in the worst possible way this morning. We barely arrived at the circuit when we heard Fred Clark over the tannoy there, sort of giving us the bad news about Kia.
Yeah, I mean, me and James were standing down there,
yeah.
and yeah, it was just terrible, really. Tricky conditions, very slippy, dry line. He hadn't been out long, first left-hander, and you know, you can see it there. He's touched the first touch. It's come round, and then bang, he's gone down on that left collarbone, and he's given it an undisplaced fracture of it, and that's meant that he's out for today at the very least. And then, you know, hopefully he can come back tomorrow and have a go. But you've got to say that, you know, it's, as it looks right now, it's been handed to Shane, and it would not be the way that Shane, Kia, or anybody in the country would have wanted to see it. So it's just, you know, I feel sorry for Bill Bass and Kia and whatever. I mean, these things happen in racing, as we all know, but just after the year we've had for this to happen, it seems so cruel.
Especially after Silverstone as well.
Yeah, I mean, the fact is that the fact is that the second half of this championship has been all about Yuichi Kinari coming back to something like form, gets on really well with the bike, loves the team, and it's just been brilliant to see. Brilliant bloke, and it was just building up nicely for a great weekend this weekend. It's really cruel, look.
He's laying in his hotel bed rather now, just, I guess, what will be going through his mind?
Just go through everything, just kept thinking, reliving that moment. Oh, if only I'd done this, or if only I'd done that. But I mean, obviously, it's really easy with hindsight.
I bet he wishes he slept in this morning.
The thing is that they said, Stuart Higgins said he's got an ice pack on it. He's going to take a bit of a view on it tomorrow. But to put 200 horsepower plus superbike around a place as physical as Brands Hatch GP circuit and have anything like a chance of getting a result is a massive ask. We've seen people come back from breaking the collarbone Friday, get it plated, pinned, and be back out on track on the Sunday and get a result. We saw Lorenzo with 5th or 6th place some time back at Assen, but it's a massive ask for
and
Kia.
it's a different thing there, because you're allowed, they can go, they can be put under sleep, and they can come back and race the next day. You can't do that here.
So he'd have to race with it completely broken, and I've tried it, and it's a big ask, and that was on a 125, and I struggled like mad.
And I the same. I mean, I broke my collarbone. I know what it feels like, and it's a tall order. So
it remains to be seen whether Kia will come back tomorrow. We know that he's not going to ride in race 1, which is later on this afternoon at 3:45. And Shaky kind of took advantage of his absence today. He's got a front row start now for race 1 and a 12-point advantage that he could well extend. Yeah, pressure's off. I think that Shane Byrne now just needs to bring it home, and he's intelligent enough and been around long enough to understand that that's what he's got to do. Things can still happen. We know racing, it's unlikely to stay dry the whole weekend, and that is the spice for us now. But yeah, the pressure's off him a little bit. Yeah, it could have turned out differently for Shaky today, and it just kind of a reminder if we needed one of the knife edge that these guys are still on all weekend. Big moment for Shane as well during qualifying. Yeah, there was a big moment. Again, we saw the sort of slippy conditions, just sort of catching people out, and you have a little look at it. Yeah, watch this. He's got the brake still. He's dragging a little bit of brake, and that went really fast. Really fast, but that also just shows what a quality, instinctive rider he is, because, you know, literally 99 people in 100 would have lost that, even out of races, would have lost that front slide. And he was immediately just on it because he's just in front of the motorcycle. And you know, 99% would have lost it on the track. The other 1% would have definitely lost it in the grass at the best part of 100 miles an hour and not crashing on wet grass. Not us though, James. Not us though. Obviously not. No. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure you would have been upright still on the grass, of course. But no, it's a good save from Shaky, but again, it just shows that, as you say, these things can turn on a knife edge, and you know, it does look obviously like it's gone in Shaky's hands, but you just never know in motorcycle racing, do you? And it does. It changes the pressure, but there is still a lot of pressure in a slightly different way on him. I'm thinking not as much though myself. Yeah, different kind, but probably not as intense. Yeah. And talking of pressure or a lack of it, James Ellison, we spoke to Mark Smith-Halverson earlier. He comes into the weekend with a new contract for next year. He's obviously feeling physically stronger as well. And what a way to bury the demons of his crash here back in July. Brilliant. The whole team look like they've got a race win there. They were so pleased with getting Paul. Yeah, really pleased for James Ellison. And again, it's Paul, and it's not, you know, it's not a race, but you've got to go that quick in these conditions, not make any mistakes, and pretty much risk things by
you know, riding the track the way it is condition-wise.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable lap because you're doing a 26 round here with damp patches on a thin line. That is utter commitment, and you know, once again, that is a fraction away from a mistake.
That's
so that really
within about within about 7/10 of the lap record that on damp patches.
It was interesting to hear what Josh Brooks said, actually. He obviously qualified third fastest. He's not scared, we know that. He said he'd rather do a lap of the Isle of Man TT circuit on a sunny day than 10 laps round here in these conditions, and I suppose that shows just what a good effort it was from James Ellison and from Shane Byrne too to finish ahead of Josh.
Yeah, like James said, with these conditions, to do a lap time like that, like I said, within 6 or 7/10 of the lap record in perfect conditions, when it's like this, you have to risk things. You're crossing damp patches, you're touching painted surfaces, and you are risking crashing. So, yeah, good effort by Ellison.
Because even though he's back properly. You know, he's still limping around. If you talk to him, he's still struggling. So, again, it just shows what a nice way for him, just after this injury, to come back just in time for the off-season to sort of get that edge.
When you do get better, you always put the limp on for another month or so. That's what you do.
Yeah, tell me about it. I'm doing that myself here this weekend.
That's for different reasons.
Yeah, we know, yeah. It would be nice, though, for James really to finish off what has been a disappointing season overall, despite a strong start, in a really good way, and just give himself that motivation over the winter and that confidence as well to start thinking, you know, I'm going to come back next year and put
it's
this
always
right.
a really nice thing to have an excellent final meeting. Firstly, he obviously puts you in everyone's shop window. I know he's already signed up, and it gives you a nice confidence, something to train on as you focus in on those dark winter mornings. And what are you laughing at?
You just don't get another chance to fix it. I always used to think, well, you know what, you've got to go out on high. It's the last meeting, Christmas dinner for a straw. It's worth it, I think.
Big difference to the rest of us, I think. Let's just remind ourselves of how things look in the championship then going into tomorrow's or this afternoon's race one, should I say. Of course, we do have 2 races as well tomorrow, so 75 points up for grabs in total. 12 the difference between Shane Byrne and Ryuichi Kinari, so he could stretch that to a maximum 37 by the end of play today, which really would give Keogh a mountain to climb tomorrow if he were to come back. Josh Brooks, Tommy Bridewell and Dan Linfoot are locked together in a 3-way battle for 3rd position now, just 6 points covering those 3 guys. What a finish to the season that could be for Linfoot if he could push on from there. Chris Walker, of course, the final man to make it through to the showdown this year. And then the Riders' Cup, James Ellison, he starts from pole position in race 1, and he has the opportunity now to close down the gap to Stuart Easton. 23 points in it in that battle for 7th place, and I suppose the dubious honour of the Riders' Cup winner, and a little bit of silverware at least to take home at the end of the season. That battle for 3rd place.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things we should really look at now, because it is a great battle. Just 6 points separate them, and they're going to be all out for that, because also bonus time, you've got to remember your bonuses. That top 3 bonus is a lot better than full, so there's going to be not just money at stake, pride, but mostly money.
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah. It's that time of year, isn't it?
Yeah. It is that time of year, and also, you know, what's happening for people for next year. A lot of those guys aren't signed. I mean, Josh Brooks is obviously signed again on the new Yamaha, which is exciting. So, but it'll be pretty interesting to see what can happen there, won't it? Yep. Who do you think's going to get 3rd?
Do you know what? I don't know. That's the thing. Not only do we concentrate on that, but there's other people who haven't made it anywhere who would, like you say, still going to be desperate for a result this time of year, just to go into the winter break with some kind of positive feel, you know.
I think still, looking at me personally, I still think Brooks is, because of his form here in the last years, you know, I still think he would be the favourite for that.
Yeah, the edge. You'd expect so, wouldn't you? We're going to find out a little bit later on this afternoon in BSB Race 1. We've also got the Supersport Sprint Race as well coming up. Just 50 points left up for grabs in that championship. 18 points in it at the top. Billy McConnell holds the lead over his teammate Graham Garland, with Alistair Seeley a further 16 points behind. And what a turnaround we got in qualifying today, with Alistair Seeley on pole, Graham 8th and Billy down in 26th.
Yeah, I mean, McConnell made a mistake on his sort of... He went out for 3 laps, came in, obviously damp conditions. Before Superbikes, the worst conditions. And you can have a look, second bike in your picture here, just coming in on Luke Hedger. And he goes fractionally wide here. Hits the damp patch there, and he's just down. Nice and gentle. You know, Billy was a bit disappointed because the bike wasn't damaged. He felt the bike could have ridden and the marshals had passed it off, but he wasn't allowed to bring it back offline, you know, off track. So there's a few little bits and bobs, but the main thing actually is, you know, obviously it's his mistake. You know, he went down, but it's cost him a lot because he's down in 26.
That must be so frustrating for Billy. in that situation, championship on the line, and he's not
being able to
able
get back.
to
Yeah, rules is the rules, you know, and like James said, the bike was completely undamaged. He had his foot caught underneath it, but he was unhurt, and he's got a massive job to do. Remember that the grid position won't be for both races. It'll just be for today's race. Then, with a bit of luck, gets a big lap time in and qualifies better for the second race. But those 18 points has he got over Garland now? He's going to need them.
Yeah,
going to need them.
Certainly is. Yeah. I'll tell you what. Let's bring in the man who makes the rules, or certainly enforces them, Stuart Higgs, race director. Stuart, what was Billy's feeling after that incident in qualifying this morning, and was there any sort of possibility for him to get here? I could tell by the look on your face here, you're sort of unsympathetic to his views.
I actually, no, my deputy was in the tower for that as I was dealing with some meetings, but I know the circumstance of it, but cut and dry. You know, after there was some ambiguity at the first round of the championship this year in the wet superbike quali session, after that, and quite clearly for every event, we publish a map to all the teams with all the authorised areas where recovery is possible. And Billy crashed in an area that it just simply isn't possible, and it's very clear once you fall, you can't get up. Simple as that. So he can remonstrate as much as he likes, but in that situation, there was nothing that could be done. If you'd have crashed at turn 3 right by an access point where it can be recovered immediately behind the protection and back into the pits, it would have been a different thing. But, you know, there was ambiguity after round 1. We made it crystal clear. And subsequent to that, you know, what we've done for Superbike and Supersport to relax it in the warm-up lap and the sighting lap periods, because the track is, whilst live, it's not fully active because it's it's immediately preceding a race or in a time period for sighting laps. You've got more time to assess to allow people to rejoin. But, you know, if very simply, you know, this is the venue where it all went wrong a few years ago, where someone got back on. Visually, bike looked perfectly okay, and then we ultimately canned an event. I'd rather talk about an argument with Billy than talking about, well, we're not doing anything for 2 hours because we're still cleaning the track.
Or worse, or worse. Yeah, indeed. And Stuart, you, like the rest of us, you must have had your hands on your head this morning when the news came through for the Marshalls Post about Keogh's crash as well.
Do you know what, it's weird? I arrived in the venue today and I just had this weird kind of uneasy feeling that just something just felt a bit odd. I know it sort of sixth sense. And when Keogh went down, he immediately reached for his collarbone. And the worst fears were realised. I mean, you know, whilst it's very bad, it's still not as bad as it could have been, as much as an absolute no-go. There is still a chance for tomorrow. So, look, I mean, I think let's draw on the positives as far as they can. It's not a complicated break. We have seen people with the broken collarbones. I think of John Reynolds, certainly back in the day, Dennis Hobbs. I don't think he's ever ridden with a good collarbone. Lorenzo, obviously, that was post-op. But, you know, he's being strapped. He's in the best treatment. He's got constant physio. He's had some pain relief. And I think if the pain relief gets in there and with physio, if the pain is able to manage and the mobility is okay, it might give it a crack. We've got warm-up tomorrow, so we'll try, I think, in the morning just to see what it's like, and we'll take it from there. But, you know, as racing, I mean, it's just one of those things. But, you know, I think there's the championship still has some interesting dimensions. I've just picked up on the post-qualifying reaction. Bit of needle between Josh and Shaky, don't you think?
Massive,
you know,
massive.
You know, and Josh's continuation in the championship, it is with some stigma, because, you know, he said he was going, he's staying. I think he feels maybe a bit of humble pie going around. The other riders might be mocking him a bit. You know, he's angry. I think we're still going to see 3 explosive races. You know, people come to see a show, and it's a part of it's the big show. Whilst the title may look a little more, you know, more than sorted out, that's one thing. But I think there's that Super Stock,
coming for the
Super Stock 600. Let's not forget. Is it 4 points between 3 riders? All of them have a slightly wild nature about them. So hey, look, it is what it is. We'll have a good show. I mean, the weather's on our side, mercifully. So I mean, just what we got.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We're hearing you. Thanks very much, Stuart.
Cheers.
Okay, explosive racing, that's what we want now, isn't it?
That's what we're going to get, I think.
Yeah, I really do.
Yeah, it is. And he has got a point there. I mean, the press conference afterwards, you had Shaky and Josh, you know, having little pops at each other.
I'm rooting for the Japanese.
Yeah, I mean, that was unusual as well, wasn't it? So
yeah, interesting.
it's all going to be happening. Plenty to watch still, plenty to watch.
OK, well, that's all we've got time for just for now, though, but we are going to be back on later on this afternoon from 3:30, live here on British Eurosport 2 HD, the first race of this title-deciding triple header here at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit. And a reminder that the showdown concludes tomorrow from 11:30 in the morning. But from all of us here at Brands Hatch, we shall see you in about an hour and a half's time for race 1. See you then.